Welcome to Shanya Studio. In this playlist you can watch crime stories from all over the world, where apart from gaining knowledge about crime stories in other parts of the world, it can also provide knowledge about, for example, the culture and habits of the people in that country. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you like our video. Thank you. We always say that cyberspace is full of almost 100% lies. Cybercrime originates from social accounts, such as Facebook, Twitter, and also others like that. Applications, which is what I will discuss this time, not just online fraud. This has spread far and wide everywhere. Because it happened to an athlete who was quite famous in America, namely Manti Theo. He has even given interviews on several television shows about his girlfriend, which apparently never existed. This happened in 2012. Maybe at that time video calls weren't very trendy. Maybe WhatsApp doesn't exist yet, the video calling application. Because the use of MySpace or Skype is still widespread. I forget to remember what applications were trending that year. But we will discuss it soon, why at that time video calls were not yet an alternative to confirm whether our online friends were real or not. Before we continue, please support this channel, press the subscribe button and also turn on the notification, so that next time, for example, if I upload something exciting, you will be the first to know. He was born on the 26th of January, 1991, in Lehigh City, Hawaii. Whose full name is Manti Te'o, and grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii. Since school, he has liked football. His debut began in 2006, when he joined the junior football team in Honolulu. His career became more established when he went to college, entering the Premier League for the Notre Dame team as a back line. At the beginning of 2009 to 2012, he moved to Florida and took part in training at the IMG Academy in Bradenton. This was the start of his professional career. At the age of 21, with a height of 188 centimeters and a weight of 102 kilos, he was predicted to be a future star of the football team in America. His fame increased to become an idol and was admired by many people. However, it seems that Manti Theo remains a shy and quiet person, but was able to bring his team to the top of the league standings. This story begins on the 28th of November, 2009, when Manti Theo and the Notre Dame team competed in the city of Palo Alto, California. He met Lennay Kekua, who is also originally from Hawaii, but studied at Stanford University, and is also a big fan of the Notre Dame team. They then exchanged telephone numbers, texted each other, and also chatted with Lennay on Twitter. Their relationship of love was very intimate, even though it was later said that distance separated them, because they live far from each other. In fact, Manti Theo's quiet nature and a little coldness towards women has made some of his friends doubt his masculinity. Some seemed to question his sexual orientation, even though he is a quiet and shy person. Well, this is what made Manti Theo finally start telling his close friends about his relationship with Lennay Kekua, which seemed long distance, but they were serious about each other. Which ultimately made Manti Theo's friends, especially his teammates, encourage Manti Theo to ask Lennay Kekua to be his girlfriend, so that Lennay Kekua doesn't get caught by someone else. So then Theo met Lennay and confessed his love for her. Manti Theo defines his girlfriend, Lennay, as a girl who is not only beautiful physically, but also in character.
Possibly the most beautiful girl I've ever met. Not because of her physical beauty, but the beauty of her character and who she is. She is just that person that I turn to.
Manti Theo and Lennay's dating relationship finally started to emerge from their teammate, Robbie Toma. Well, because this sport of football is very popular in America, finally all the fans and media know about the relationship between Manti Theo and his girlfriend, Lennay Kekua. Everyone interviewed him, and Manti promised to soon bring his girlfriend to appear in public. Manti Theo's father, Brian Theo, even told the public about Manti Theo and his girlfriend Lennay's trip to Hawaii in 2011 to meet Lennay's parents and tell them about their seriousness. Manti Theo often travels around America because he competes, so he doesn't just stay in one city. Well, when he was out of town in January 2012, his lover, Lennay Kekua, had an accident that almost took her life. Then Lennay had to go back to Hawaii so that her family can care for her. This made Manti Theo's heart sad, but he promised his girlfriend, Lennay, to continue all the matches, because there would still be a lot of matches for the league that season. And what's worse, when she was being treated for a car accident, it was discovered that Lennay had always had leukemia, and was in the final stage. This is what makes Manti Theo's heart even more sad. For 8 months since Lennay's treatment, his lover Manti Theo has not been able to visit her, because of his busy match schedule. Manti Theo's teammates finally found out about Lennay Kekua's illness, and all the football fans in America also knew. So every time they want to compete, they must pray together, by all the players and spectators on the field, for the recovery of Manti Theo's girlfriend, namely Lennay Kekua. A very touching, true love story. Every night Manti Theo and Lennay are always on the phone for hours. Tells many things about their future plans, about Lennay's condition, who is always lying in the hospital, about the match Manti is facing. Even Manti Theo's brother, who is his manager, often texts Lennay when Manti Theo is
Bukan
playing.
hanya di situ, Lennay Kekua ini kan main Twitter juga ya, dengan nama Love MSMK. Nah, Lennay juga mengirimi foto dengan nama Twitternya tersebut kepada Manti Theo, mengirim voicemail ucapan cinta dan selamat tidur, bahkan pernah mengirim video mengucapkan selamat bertanding, pokoknya kisah cinta sejati.
Basically, a true love story. Until then, on the 11th of September, 2012, it was said that Manti Theo and Lennay Kekua made a phone call before Manti Theo was quarantined ahead of the match in 4 days. So if they want to compete, they are quarantined first, and are not allowed to hold cell phones. On the phone, that's what she said to Manti Theo. Promise, whatever happens to her, Manti Theo must continue the match. And Manti Theo promised at that time. The next day, the 12th of September, 2012, when he started to enter quarantine, ahead of the Notre Dame match against Michigan, Manti Theo received news from his brother, who was also his manager, that their grandmother had died at the age of 80. Not only that, about 6 hours later, the older brother told Manti Theo that he had received an SMS from Lennay's parents, stating that Lennay Kekua had died after 8 months of fighting with her illness.
And he was just crying and crying and crying, and that's when I kind of knew, but I was still in denial. You know, I was like, don't tell me you're crying, because it's what I'm thinking. And that's when he just said, she's gone.
Teo's girlfriend, Lennay Kekua, who was battling leukemia, had died.
I just lost everything. And, you know, I cried, I yelled. I've never felt that way before.
This deep sadness made Manti Theo cry as hard as he could. Even though, the next day, they will face the final match against Michigan. Manti Theo's teammate, who said, things were very chaotic that night.
That was his roommate the night before the game. You know, he could barely sleep. And, you know, it was just a rough night for him. And for him to be able to show up the next day and, you know, play inspired and play as hard as he did, it was just fitting that he got the game ball, or Lennay.
This deep sadness immediately reached the ears of all football fans. Shortly before the match, the audience shouted Manti Theo's name and gave them encouragement and strength, because Manti Theo was still competing, even though he lost his girlfriend. It seems that this is what motivated Manti Theo to compete at that time. And the Notre Dame team won. Prayers together by the coach and team manager always carry the name Lennay Kekua. A special time was given for Manti Theo to say the words of victory. While crying, he told his love story with his lover, Lennay Kekua. Notre Dame's victory celebration was also celebrated by the opposing team. In front of 80,000 spectators, the big match was dedicated to Lennay Kekua, who died of leukemia. Several months after the match, Manti Theo's sad story became a hot topic in all media. He was interviewed here and there, because he was an example. Even though circumstances hit by disaster and misfortune, you must continue to be enthusiastic and live optimistically. One of the TV stations even made a special program entitled Strong of Heart, which tells the story of Manti Theo's career, especially his love journey with Lennay Kekua, his lover, who has gone forever. A story of true love that is not selfish, even though she is sick. His girlfriend continued to encourage Manti Theo to compete until his last strength. Until one day, with great excitement, Lennay Kekua's photos were scattered in every corner of the city, and also on the internet. As a girl who touched the hearts of many people. A woman named Diane O'Meara appeared, who was very shocked, because her face was everywhere. As a girl who had died of leukemia. Lennay Kekua's photos are revered and cried by every football fan. It is her. Diane O'Meara then reported it to the police station, and found out what really happened. She surprised, why do people cry over my photos? She started Googling, and looking for information, especially on the football website, what is actually going on. But it seems that Diane O'Meara then knew what had happened, and appointed a man as the mastermind behind all this, a man named Lennay Kekua, who was a former high school friend of Diane O'Meara. It turns out that Diane was being trapped by Lennay, who said he had a cousin who was going to have brain surgery. So Ronia several times asked Diane to send photos in various poses, using the name Manti Theo, using his Twitter name, and even sending a video. Happy competition for his cousin, because at that time HIH cousin wanted to compete in chess, he said. Actually, Diane and Lennay have graduated from high school since 2007. They weren't really close before, because they were never in the same class, and since graduating from high school, they haven't communicated, apart from when Lennay told her about his sick cousin and was a fan of Diane when he saw her on Facebook. Just then Diane contacted Lennay, scolded and told Lennay to stop all the lies and admit to Manti Theo that everything was not true, or Diane would report Lennay to the police.
So you know Lennay Kekua
in high school.
In high school. And had you been in, how long ago was that?
I graduated in 2007, so...
Okay. Had you been in touch with him over the years?
No, he never contacted me up until this past December.
So that first photograph, how did he get that photograph? Where did he take that from?
Right, he contacted me through multiple messages on Facebook, relaying that him and his cousin had been in a traumatic car accident. He basically said that he's creating a slideshow for his cousin who's waiting for his brain surgery, and to help him out if I could send a photo of myself. He in fact was stalking my profile for 5 years, taking my photos, and he created
For 5 years he was doing this?
He created this identity that was not me. It was this Lennay Kekua with my face on it.
How does that feel? I mean, emotionally?
It's unnerving. I mean, it's very frustrating, and even still when I see the photos and when I see how they've been exposed all over the media, it's hard. But I mean, the fact is, this doesn't just happen to me.
Sure.
You know, granted, this is a very unique situation that involves mass media, but this happens every day.
It happens to people all the time.
Yeah, which is the most devastating thing.
Maybe you're wondering, who has Theo been calling all this time? Who does he send voice note to? It turns out that Manti Theo has been on the phone with Lennay Kekua. Because it turns out that Lennay's voice is indeed a bit sultry and a bit like a woman's voice. It was by playing with his mouth that Lennay succeeded in making a woman's voice on telephone calls and voicemails in order to trick Manti Theo.
You know, we just got here and I'm getting ready for my first session. Just want to call you, keep you posted. You know, I got here and I'm getting ready for my first session and just wanted to call you and keep you posted.
In December 2012, Lennay finally called Manti Theo. Of course, with another cell phone number, use the old Lennay Kekua number. Well, Manti Theo was shocked, you know. Lennay, you're still alive. Finally, Lennay admitted that he had been lying to Manti Theo with all the stories about Lennay Kekua. No girl named Lennay Kekua, no one crashed in a car, no one got leukemia and died. It's all just lies written by Lennay Kekua. And Lennay's reason is just because he is a big fan of Manti Theo and has a fantasy of being Manti Theo's girlfriend. Wow. Lennay admitted this, and also said he wanted to be close to Manti Theo. Then this news started to make a splash, and went viral. Moreover, Diane O'Meara was forced by her family and friends to provide clarification on several television stations, because this could have an impact on her work. Like or not, Manti Theo, the manager, and his family opened their voices about what really happened. It's only now that Theo admitted that he first met and exchanged cell phone numbers with Lennay Kekua through a dating website, not that he met after a match. It's true that they claim to be dating online all this time, but never met in person. And Manti Theo always believed that Lennay Kekua was a real woman. Really an accident and leukemia. All of this actually happened to Theo, and because he was deceived by Lennay.
Can't express how sorry I am towards Manti and his family.
In an exclusive interview with Dr. Phil, Lennay Kekua not only admits he was the mastermind behind the Manti Te'o girlfriend hoax, but we watch as this big, burly 22-year-old man goes behind this privacy screen and allegedly transforms his voice into what sounds like the fictitious female character he created, Lennay.
Then what about the story that Manti Theo once met Lennay Kekua directly at the beginning? There are several parties who doubt Manti Theo's sexual orientation. So, to dispel these doubts, Manti Theo admitted that he was making up a story, that he had met Lennay Kekua, and that Manti had told this lie to Lennay before, and Manti Theo had even lied to his father and brother about this. Actually, all this is because Manti Theo is sure that Lennay Kekua is a real woman, whom he would soon meet and marry. Manti Theo feels like he is lying and it's okay, he's actually dating Lennay. He didn't know that his girlfriend had always been a man. It's a bit complicated to explain, because Lennay lied as Lennay Kekua, and Manti Theo lied about meeting Lennay Kekua in person. Manti Theo also invited Lennay to video call several times, but was rejected for various reasons. I don't know whether video calls were popular in 2012 or not. What's certain is that Theo already believes that Lennay is real, because they call almost every night, and Lennaya's voice is really girly, isn't it? Maybe he was blinded by love, but Lennay really tricked Manti Theo at that time. Even though then, Manti Theo and his family and manager mentally had to go back from TV to TV again to clarify. Insults and insults were received from all people and all parties who had always completely believed in Manti Theo's story. Many people have been deceived and confused about the love story of Manti Theo and Lennay Kekua, which turns out to be just a hoax. Until Manti Theo's Brian Theo also cried and apologized to the American people, especially football fans, for this lie and chaos. Until finally the Manti Theo also reported Lennay Kekua to the police.
Why in the world wouldn't you go visit this girl in the hospital, this young woman who you claim is the love of your life? Why wouldn't you go see her?
That was on April 28th. Two weeks later, I get to go home. And so I end up in San Diego, which was too far for me to go to the hospital. Then I fly to LA, and the layover time was too short.
But it's like a 2-hour drive from San Diego. Manti, that just really doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either at this point.
I've known him 21 years of his life. And he's not a liar. He's a kid.
But it seems that Manti Theo's family is also a kind-hearted family, because then they withdrew the report, because Lennaya's father, Pastor Titus Tuasasop, together with the congregation of his church apologized on a TV station to Manti Theo's family, and Diane O'Meara's family. They admitted that Lennay and his family were the ones at fault, and responsible for all the chaos this news has caused throughout society. Clean their good name. It said this process was also quite long, because it involved several parties in the football team. Until the 19th of January, 2013, the three families finally resolved this problem amicably. It was even broadcast on sports TV station, ESPN. And Lennay Kekua was punished by not being able to approach Manti Theo or Diane O'Meara for at least 10 kilometers, and not being able to chat or have contact with them. Manti Theo just got married, in August 2020 to Yovi Nicole Ngbino. But it seems that the news about Manti Theo's fake girlfriend used to be remembered by people to this day, and became one of the biggest public lies in the world of sports. What do you think? What is wrong? Is only Lennay Kekua because he deceived Manti Theo, or Manti Theo is also wrong because he is the one who published this lie to the whole community and also the media, or Manti Theo should just marry Diane O'Meara because he has been down all this time? Love Diane's photo. You comment below. If you like this video, don't forget to click the like and share buttons. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time or have not yet subscribed, don't forget to click the subscribe button first and turn on the notification so that next time, for example, if I upload a new video, you will be the first to know. Don't forget to watch all my other videos. Thank you.